Have you ever stood in the kitchen and opened a cabinet, only to pause, wondering why you came in? Or perhaps you've sat with a friend, mid-conversation, and suddenly the word you wanted was just out of reach. It happens to all of us. And the older we get, the more these little moments can make us wonder, is this normal? Is my mind still sharp? Should I be doing something to help it? If you've asked yourself these questions, you're not alone. And today, I'd like to invite you to sit with me, maybe with a warm cup of tea in hand, for a gentle conversation about the mind. Because the truth is, small habits we barely notice can quietly shape how well our brains age after 65. The good news? With a little awareness, we can make simple shifts that keep our minds clearer, brighter, and more joyful for years to come. I'm Sarah, and this is Vibrant Elders, a place where we honor life's later chapters and learn how to live them well. Today, we'll explore 7 everyday mistakes that can slowly harm your brain after 65. You may recognize some of them. Others might surprise you, but I promise, this won't be a lecture. No complicated science talk, just warm advice. The kind you might share over the kitchen table with a dear friend. Before we begin, let me tell you about my Uncle Robert. Robert was always the sharpest one in our family. He loved crosswords, history books, and spirited debates. But after retirement, something changed. His days grew quieter. He'd skip gatherings. The books gathered dust. At first, no one noticed. Then one day, during a family dinner, he struggled to recall a story he'd told countless times. Afterward, Robert said something that stuck with me. I think my mind's gotten lazy. That was his wake-up call. And it became mine, too. Because what Robert learned, and what I want to share with you, is this: our minds need tending. Just like a garden, when we stop feeding them, stretching them, and caring for them, the soil dries out, the flowers fade. But when we nurture them with connection, movement, curiosity, rest, and purpose, incredible things happen. It's never too late to begin. And you don't need expensive programs or fancy brain games. You simply need to notice the small habits that may be harming your mind, and replace them with ones that help it bloom. That's what we'll explore together today. So get comfortable, pour that tea, and as we go through these gentle insights, I invite you to listen with kindness, not judgment. We're not here to be perfect. We're here to be curious, to learn, and to care for these beautiful minds of ours. Because every day is a chance to grow wiser and to keep shining brightly. No matter how many candles are on the cake. Are you ready? Let's begin. Let's start with a habit that often sneaks into our lives after 65, the quiet trap. You see, when we retire or the kids move out, life naturally slows down. At first, the calm feels nice. No more early alarms, no more packed calendars. But if we aren't careful, this peace can slowly turn into isolation. And when it does, our brains can suffer. Our minds need stimulation. They crave connection. Just like a plant needs sunlight and water, the brain needs interaction to stay vibrant. When we talk with others, whether it's a deep conversation or a quick chat at the store, it gives our brain a workout. Memory, attention, language, emotion, all those mental muscles get used. But if we spend too many days alone, with few meaningful interactions, the brain begins to slow down. I saw this happen to my neighbor, Paul. Paul was a lively man in his working years, always on the phone, always meeting friends. When he retired at 68, he enjoyed the slower pace at first. But gradually, he stopped calling friends. His weekly lunch group faded away. Days grew quieter. At first, he didn't think much of it. But then small things change, forgetting where he left his wallet, struggling to find words in conversation. At his checkup, the doctor suggested re-engaging with life. Not dramatic changes, just adding a bit more connection each week. So Paul joined a local breakfast group for retired men. They met twice a week at a nearby diner. It was simple: coffee, pancakes, conversation. And over time, Paul noticed his mind felt clearer. His mood improved. He had more energy and purpose in his days. He told me, "I didn't realize how much I missed being around people." Here's what I want you to remember. You don't need big social events. Even small moments of connection nourish your brain. Call a grandchild, visit a neighbor, attend a church group, Chat with a friend over coffee. Even 10 to 15 minutes of social interaction a few times a week can help keep your brain engaged. If your days have grown quieter lately, that's okay, it happens to many of us. But this is your invitation to open the door again. Reconnect. Let your brain soak up the light of conversation. Because staying socially active isn't just good for your heart, it's one of the best things you can do for your mind. And remember, it's never too late to start. Now let's talk about a second habit that can quietly chip away at your brain health, what I call the sitting spell. It's easy to fall into, especially as we get older. Maybe your knees aren't what they used to be. Maybe your favorite chair calls to you a little more these days. Maybe the TV keeps you company when the house feels too quiet. And before you know it, hours have slipped by with very little movement. Here's the thing. Your body and your brain were never meant to sit still for long stretches. Movement isn't just about keeping your legs strong, it actually helps your brain work better. 2. When you move, even just a little, your heart pumps fresh blood to your brain. More blood means more oxygen, which nourishes your mind and helps clear away waste. Sitting too long slows this whole system down. That's why after a long day in the chair, you might feel foggy, tired, or sluggish. Let me tell you about Ruth, a friend of mine from church. Ruth is 73 and loves her TV mysteries. She used to watch 2 or 3 episodes back to back in the afternoons. One day she told me, "I'm getting so stiff, my legs feel heavy, and my mind feels foggy after I sit too long." We talked about simple ways to change that, not giving up her TV time, just adding a bit of movement. Now, during every commercial break, Ruth gets up and walks around her living room. Sometimes she'll do a few gentle stretches or take a quick stroll to check her mailbox. And guess what? After a few weeks, she told me, "I feel sharper again, and my legs aren't so heavy anymore." Here's the key. You don't need a gym or a fancy program. Small movements done often are powerful. Walk to the mailbox. March in place while the coffee brews. Stretch while you wait for the microwave. Sway to your favorite song in the kitchen. Every time you move, you're sending fresh energy to your brain. And if you've been sitting more lately, don't feel bad, we've all been there. But now you know that moving a little more each day can truly help your mind stay clear and sharp. So tomorrow, when you find yourself sitting for a while, remember Ruth, get up, stretch, stroll, even for just a minute or two. Your brain and your body will thank you. Let's move on to another sneaky habit that can quietly dull the mind, failing to feed your curiosity. It happens easily after retirement. Life slows down, routines settle in, and days start to look very similar. There's comfort in familiar routines. Of course, the same morning paper, the same TV shows, the same route to the market. But here's the truth. Your brain is like a muscle. If you stop challenging it, it starts to lose its strength. Just as lifting light weights helps keep your body strong, feeding your curiosity helps keep your mind sharp and flexible. Without new information and new experiences, the pathways in your brain don't get used as often. Over time, they can fade, making memory, thinking, and problem-solving harder. Now, this doesn't mean you have to take up calculus or study ancient history, unless you want to. Even small bits of curiosity, reading a new kind of book, learning a few words in another language, trying a new hobby, all give your brain the exercise it craves. Let me tell you about Bill, a retired engineer I know. Bill had always been a numbers guy, logical, precise, but after retiring, he noticed his mind felt a little flat. His daughter suggested trying something creative, something outside his comfort zone. So at 72, Bill picked up painting, for the very first time. At first, he said, "I don't know what I'm doing." But he kept at it, experimenting with colors, watching videos, visiting local art shows, and what he discovered amazed him. He started seeing the world differently, noticing shades in the sky, the texture of leaves, and his mind, it felt alive again. He told me, "It's like my brain is humming again. I'm looking at life with new eyes." That's the power of curiosity. And it doesn't have to be big. Maybe you try cooking a new recipe this week, or listen to a podcast on a subject you know little about. Maybe you start writing that family story you've always wanted to share. Each time you stretch your mind, even a little, you're building new pathways and keeping old ones strong. So ask yourself, when was the last time I tried something new? If it's been a while, that's okay. The invitation is always there. Your brain is hungry for curiosity, and it will thank you with greater clarity, joy, and resilience in the years to come. So let yourself wonder, let yourself learn. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give your mind. Next, let's talk about a habit that many of us fall into without even noticing: sipping on worry. I use that phrase because stress often isn't one big event. It's more like a slow drip, a little here, a little there, and before you know it, it's soaked into your mind. And here's the thing, when stress lingers, it can quietly harm the brain. Chronic stress releases hormones like cortisol that, over time, can shrink parts of the brain responsible for memory and learning. It also makes us more forgetful, more distracted, and more prone to mood swings. Now, a little worry is natural. It helps us plan and prepare. But when it sticks around day after day, that's when it becomes a problem. I think about my cousin Dorothy. She always told me, "I'm not a worrier, I just like to think things through." But thinking things through turned into overthinking. When her husband passed away, Dorothy found herself lying awake at night, replaying conversations, worrying about what might go wrong. She wasn't sleeping well. During the day, she felt foggy and tired. Her doctor explained how chronic stress can weigh down the mind, and suggested small ways to release some of that tension. Dorothy started writing her worries down at night, putting them in a worry jar, and telling herself, "I'll come back to this tomorrow if needed." She also began taking short nature walks, just 10 minutes a day, to reset her mind. And she practiced deep breathing, in slowly through the nose, out through the mouth, a few times each day. It didn't erase her worries, but it gave her mind space to breathe. Within weeks, Dorothy noticed she felt clearer, calmer, and more rested. Here's what I want you to remember. You can't avoid all stress, but you can change how you carry it. Simple tools like these can help. Write down your worries and set them aside. Practice deep breathing or gentle meditation. Spend time in nature. Talk with a friend or loved one. Listen to calming music. The goal isn't to eliminate every concern. It's to keep stress from settling too deeply into your mind. So ask yourself, am I sipping on worry without realizing it? If so, it's never too late to let a little of that worry go and give your brain the gift of peace. Because a clear mind isn't just a happier mind, it's a healthier one. 2. Now let's talk about another quiet habit that can harm the brain after 65, shortchanging sleep. For many of us, sleep is something we tend to brush off. Maybe you've even said it yourself, "I'll sleep when I'm dead." But here's the truth. Good sleep is one of the best gifts you can give your brain. You see, when we sleep, the brain goes to work. During the deepest stages of sleep, the brain clears out waste, toxins that build up during the day. Think of it like a nightly cleaning crew. Without enough deep sleep, that waste sticks around, making us feel foggy, forgetful, and slow the next day. Over time, poor sleep is linked to memory loss and even a higher risk of dementia. I know this from personal experience. For a while after I retired, I'd stay up too late watching TV or scrolling on my phone. I thought, it's fine, I can sleep in tomorrow. But the more I did it, the worse I felt. I struggled to find words in conversation. I forgot appointments. I had trouble focusing on simple tasks. It wasn't until I started taking sleep seriously that things improved. Let me share a story about my friend Bill, a 75-year-old musician. Bill loved staying up late playing guitar, but after a few months, he noticed his mind wasn't as sharp. His doctor explained that as we age, our bodies need strong sleep routines even more than before. Bill made a few small changes. He started going to bed at the same time each night. He dimmed the lights in the evening to signal to his brain that bedtime was coming. He avoided caffeine and late-night snacks. He began reading a relaxing book before bed instead of watching the news. Within a month, Bill felt clearer, sharper, and more rested. He told me, "I didn't know sleep could make this big of a difference." Here's what I want you to remember. Poor sleep isn't just tiring, it's harmful to the brain. If you find yourself struggling with sleep, stick to a consistent bedtime. Keep your bedroom cool and dark. Limit screen time an hour before bed. Try a soothing bedtime routine, light reading, soft music, or gentle stretches. And if sleep problems persist, talk with your doctor, because sometimes small adjustments or treatments can help. So tonight, when you tuck yourself in, remember this. Every good night's sleep is an investment in a clearer, healthier mind. Give yourself that gift. You've earned it. Now let's move on to another small habit that can quietly harm the brain: ignoring nutrition. It's something that sneaks up on a lot of us. When we were younger, we didn't give it much thought. We ate what we wanted, trusted that our bodies would bounce back. But after 65, what we put on our plates matters more than ever, especially for brain health. You see, every bite you take is like sending a message to your brain. Foods rich in healthy fats, antioxidants, and vitamins help the brain stay strong, sharp, and resilient. On the other hand, too much sugar, processed foods, and unhealthy fats can clog up the works, leading to brain fog, slower thinking, and even memory problems over time. I think of my friend Evelyn, a spry 78-year-old with a quick wit. A couple of years ago, she noticed she was feeling more tired and forgetful than usual. When she talked to her doctor, they reviewed her diet. Evelyn had fallen into the habit of grabbing a lot of packaged snacks and sugary treats, quick and easy. But not what her brain needed. With some encouragement, she started making simple swaps. Adding blueberries to her breakfast, great for the brain. Eating more leafy greens and colorful veggies. Choosing salmon or walnuts for healthy fats. Drinking more water throughout the day. And the difference? Remarkable. She told me, "I feel like my mind woke up again. I didn't realize food could affect how clearly I think." Here's what I want you to know. You don't need a complicated diet. Just aim for simple, colorful, natural foods most of the time. Fresh fruits and veggies, whole grains, nuts and seeds, lean proteins like fish or beans, plenty of water, and try to limit processed snacks, sugary drinks, and fried foods, which can cloud the mind. If cooking feels hard some days, that's okay. Keep it simple. A bowl of vegetable soup, a spinach salad with nuts, a piece of grilled fish with steamed veggies. Even small changes can make a big difference. And don't forget hydration. Our sense of thirst dulls with age. But our brains still need water to work well. If you're feeling tired or foggy, sometimes a glass of water is the best medicine. So ask yourself, what's one small change I can make to nourish my brain today? Your mind will thank you, with more clarity, better memory, and a brighter mood. And remember, every healthy choice is an act of self-care. You deserve it. Now, my friend, we've come to the 7th habit that can quietly harm your mind. And I believe this one may be the most important of all: giving up on purpose. As we grow older, life changes. The busy routines of working years fade. The house grows quieter. Loved ones may move away, or we may lose people close to us. And little by little, the days can begin to feel empty. Without a sense of purpose, without something that gives you a reason to get up and engage each day, the mind begins to drift. You may feel less motivated, more forgetful, even downhearted. That's because having purpose, big or small, gives structure and meaning to your life. It keeps your brain engaged. It fosters curiosity, joy, and connection. And the good news is this: purpose can take many forms. It doesn't have to be about achieving great things or changing the world. Sometimes, purpose is found in the smallest actions: tending a garden, helping a neighbor, teaching a grandchild something new, volunteering once a week, caring for a beloved pet, creating something, a quilt, a story, a photo album. I think of my dear friend Dorothy, who at 81 volunteers at her local library reading to children. She once told me, "I may be old, but when I read those stories to those little faces, I feel needed, I feel alive." And that is the gift of purpose. It lights up the mind. No matter your age, purpose helps strengthen the brain by keeping you engaged, thinking ahead, planning, and interacting with others. Without it, life can feel flat, and the mind, underused, begins to decline. So I ask you gently, what gives you purpose today? If you're not sure, that's okay. Purpose is something we can rediscover at any stage of life. Start small, try something new, revisit an old passion, offer help where it's needed. Even tiny steps in the direction of purpose can brighten your days and sharpen your mind. And remember, purpose isn't measured by how much you do. It's measured by how much meaning it brings to your heart. So as we near the close of this conversation, I encourage you, keep seeking purpose, keep finding joy, keep giving your beautiful mind reasons to stay curious, engaged, and alive, because no matter how many candles are on your cake, you still have much to offer, much to enjoy, and much to discover. Well, my friend, here we are, at the close of our time together today. We've explored 7 small habits that can quietly harm your brain after 65. Not because we want to scare ourselves, but because knowing is power. And the truth is, these are gentle insights. They aren't about being perfect or adding pressure to your life. They are about small shifts that can keep your mind brighter, clearer, and more joyful in the years ahead. Because you deserve that. You deserve mornings where you feel clear and purposeful, conversations where words come easily, days that feel alive with curiosity. And the good news is, it is never too late to start. Even if you've recognized some of these habits in your own life. That's okay. I have, too. We all have. What matters is that you are here now, learning, reflecting, and ready to move forward with greater kindness toward yourself and your beautiful mind. So let's take a quiet moment to reflect. Ask yourself, which one of these habits spoke to me the most today? Was it the quiet trap, realizing your world may have grown too silent lately? Or perhaps the sitting spell, remembering that your body and brain both need gentle movement to stay strong? Maybe it was the importance of feeding your curiosity, keeping your mind engaged with new ideas and experiences. Or recognizing how lingering stress, that slow sipping on worry, can weigh down your mind more than you realized. Perhaps you've been short-changing sleep, thinking it was unimportant, when in fact it's one of your brain's greatest allies. Or maybe you've been overlooking how much nutrition impacts the clarity and sharpness of your thoughts. And finally, the one so many of us wrestle with, giving up on purpose. Letting days drift by without something to look forward to. Wherever your heart landed today, I hope you'll take this as a gentle invitation, not to overhaul everything at once, but to choose one small step to begin. Because here's the beautiful truth. Small steps add up to big changes over time. Maybe tomorrow, you'll pick up the phone and call a friend. Maybe you'll set a timer to get up and stretch every hour. Maybe you'll try a new recipe or pick up a book on a topic you've always wondered about. Maybe you'll take a quiet walk and practice letting go of the worries that no longer serve you. Maybe you'll begin honoring sleep as a sacred gift to your mind. Maybe you'll fill your plate with more colorful, nourishing foods. Maybe you'll look for a small way to bring purpose back into your days. Whether that's caring for a plant, writing a letter, or offering kindness to someone else. Each of these steps is a gift, not just to your brain, but to your whole self. Because the mind, body, and spirit are beautifully connected. When you tend to one, you uplift them all. I want to leave you with this story. My dear friend Helen, now 85, once told me, I used to think it was too late to change. But then I realized, every sunrise I'm blessed to see is a chance to begin again. And she did begin again, at 78. She joined a local writing group, started taking short walks each day, and reconnected with old friends she'd drifted away from. Today, Helen is sharp, joyful, and full of purpose, and she often says, "My mind feels younger now than it did a decade ago." That is possible for all of us. Because tending to your mind isn't about turning back the clock, it's about keeping your light shining brightly, no matter how many candles are on your birthday cake. So as we close this video, I invite you to share in the comments. What is one small habit you'll begin, or one that you already do, to care for your mind? Your story might inspire someone else here in our vibrant elders community. And if this conversation touched your heart or gave you an idea, I would be honored if you'd like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share it with a friend who might benefit. Together, we are building a circle of wisdom, a place where age is celebrated, and life is lived with curiosity, kindness, and joy. Remember this, dear friend, it is never too late to tend to your beautiful mind, and every small act of care you give it today is a seed that will bloom in the days, months, and years to come. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until we meet again, be well, be curious, and keep shining brightly. You are a vibrant elder, and the world is better with your light in it. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video.